Hello and welcome to Chess with Simon. I'm Simon. Okay, Joseph. Well, I think we're going to move here to stop the side checks, and we're just going to claim that we've still got a winning ending. That's what I'm going to claim. This one, I think we've got a losing ending. I think Horde Coach is going to take all my pawns before I've got time to break through Queen and E. I think it's going to be bad. Am I going to give up? Not quite yet, because I suppose I'm going to lose in an instructive way. Is that my argument? Should we take the bishop, then the knight takes, then we push the pawn, then the pawn takes? Should we push? I don't know what to do. I mean, should we push this? It's not silly. We'll push that. Okay, this one, I think we're winning. So A4 is hanging. I think Horde Coach will probably play, well, either B3 or I think B3. I think B3. That's what we'll see. This one, I'm going to play this. Defend the bishop. And it sort of slightly cages the rook in. Oh, look. Ninja Jimmy, this is a completely new game. Against a challenge from someone who I don't know. Haven't met before. Knight F3 is a good move. There's only two legal moves in this position. And I'm going to make one of them. So I think taking with the bishop is the standard move. I mean, I don't believe taking with the king is losing. I mean, it's just the way the game went, right? I mean, F6, okay, F6 not a bad move. Who knows why? Probably something. I mean, I wouldn't play King D8. Anyway, the thing is, I think taking with the bishop slightly better. Why do I think that? Because it allows me to castle. And even in what is I suppose they call this a queenless middle game, do they? They don't call this an end game, they call it a queenless middle game. But it's essentially, Keith said, let's have some fun after you've accepted the gambit. And it is fun. It's sort of Queen's Indian type fun, Caro-Kann type fun. It's not really King's Gambit type fun, but that's the fascination of chess. Sometimes these things can happen. What do you do here? Rook E8, probably. Don't you? Rook E8. Or they want to do Knight C6. I don't know. I thought you sort of did the Rook F3, yeah? Rook E8, F3, and then don't you do... I thought you did like Bishop D7. No, they really do Knight... Oh, they do Pawn C6, looking for a D5 break. Bishop F2 to get it off because it's exposed. And then you play the break, do you? I knew that, honestly. Castle. Knight C6. Okay. C5. That's a weird move, isn't it? Who knew that was the move? All of this goodness to come. But I think Rook E8 makes sense. Basically attacking that pawn. Getting the rook in an open file. Because F3 is weakening, isn't it? It's weakening the dark squares, and then that bishop's not defended, which is why you can start to think about playing D5 with tempo, because the E pawn gets pinned against the bishop. Aha! Someone knows what they're doing. Okay, so I guess the thing said C6. So the game against Liam, I looked at some active defence here with G5, trying to swap off the pawns, but it looked a bit risky. I did some variations. It looked a bit risky, so we're going to try passive defence. Liam will notice his rook's attacked. He also doesn't watch this video till he's played his move, so I'm not giving anything away. Anyway, that wouldn't be giving anything away anyway. This one, Gary. Oh, so complicated. Oh. What would you do, party people? With best play, black wins this, right? Yeah, I think with best play, black wins this. I want to play h4, fixing the pawn on a light square. But I'm worried that it creates weaknesses. We're going to find out, aren't we? I've messed this up against Nigel. This was a silly move. This was wrong for three reasons, this move, bishop d7. The first is you should never play for cheapos. So I was playing for the cheapos. The cheapo I was playing for was this. This was the cheapo I was playing for. Yes, because the pawn's pinned. I thought I wouldn't exchange. Now, there's three things wrong with this. The first is someone as good as Nigel wouldn't miss that. The second thing is he can exit with check, as he's just demonstrated. And the third thing is you should never play for cheapos. It's always wrong. You play the best move. You don't underestimate your opponent's intelligence. And particularly not someone like Nigel, who's very good. But not with anyone, actually. So this was a bad move. I mean, part of me just thought, well, maybe it can be involved in a king's-led attack. So it wasn't just about the cheapo, but it kind of slightly was about the cheapo. And that's a silly thing to do, because the clue's in the title. So queen c4 check. So does the bishop go in the way then? Does the bishop go in the way? Because you don't want a white piece landing on f7. A white major piece landing on f7. I think the bishop's got to go in the way. Maybe then the knight comes in. I don't know. To be honest, I've not thought very hard about this. But, I mean, should we guess what's going to happen? In fact, let's just have a quick look. So probably queen here, hitting the rook. Which is quite bad. I mean, what if we played rook here? This. That knight's actually quite a good defensive piece. I don't know. I really don't know. That doesn't look very good, does it? Okay, so... Well, actually, what's funny about this game is it's been a real yo-yo game because... there you go, that's the answer. It's been a real yo-yo game because Nigel had an attack, and then I tried to swap, and then I had an attack. And now it looks like he's got an attack again, and I'm having to come back and block. And it's quite interesting. It's like a game of football, isn't it? Backwards and forwards. Okay, so for now we'll play this, which doesn't look like a disaster to my untrained eye, or to my eye. We've seen this before. It keeps coming up. This one, I'm going to try and pin the knight against the rook. How about that for an idea? That knight's attacked 3 times and defended twice. Yeah. This one keeps coming up. Oh, yeah. It's not Maxime Legrave because we know it isn't, because he wouldn't play. He plays e4. And so I thought this was Stuart's style. I expected this, knight f3, because for a positional player like Stuart and a solid player like Stuart, you know, the Nimzo's annoying because black has various positional ideas. I mean, I'm sure everyone knows this, but just in general, the concept of the Nimzo is that d5 is too committal and you don't have to play d5, because after knight c3, which is aiming for e4, you can play this, which pins the knight, so there's no e4, and so the engines actually want to play e3, and all of a sudden now black can play either c5 or d5, and you know, black has a nice position here. But you know, there's a lot of different ways to play the Nimzo for white and for black. It does give black a lot of counterplay in some cases, and so I think the Queen's Indian is more likely to give white a stable advantage, perhaps a bit less complicated. Also, Alpha Zero had some brilliant wins against Stockfish in the Queen's Indian, on the white side of the Queen's Indian. So we could play Bishop b4 check and play the Bogo Indian. We could play this, but the thing is, if they take here, you don't take with a knight. Look, no one ever does. You take with a pawn, and then white has a slightly less good version of the exchange variation, because normally you wouldn't choose to have your knight on f3, because I think it rules out certain lines where you play pawn f3. But we're not going to do that. We're not going to play c5, the Benoni defense. Although you play the Benoni and you avoid things like the 4-pawn attack or the modern version of the Benoni where you hold back knight f3. So actually, c5 for Benoni players, particularly who don't like the 4-pawn or related systems, this is I think the Tamanov system as well. This is it's a good move. We're not going to play any of those good moves. We're going to play pawn b6, Queen's Indian, and we're going to really relish the prospect of a long, subtle positional game against Stuart. What's he going to play? g3, or he might play the same as Eldar, a3, the Petrosian, which causes me problems. Although it's incredible that it's such a good move, because it doesn't develop any pieces or take the centre, it just stops a pin. Not this again. Okay, here, well, I think we're going to take the queen, aren't we? What with? Rook? Does it matter? It might matter. We'll take with the rook. We're not going to get into back rank trouble because the bishop can always cover on f8. I think we're okay here. Yeah, we've made one move there tonight. This one, I'm going to do something that I may live to regret. I've done a lot of things in this series that I've lived to regret. Pawn e4. I'm trying to get some grip on the light squares. Yeah, I'm trying to get some grip on the light squares. Okay, this is the Ian game. What did he do? Oh, he's good. He's good. He's good. He's good. He's attacking my bishop. So do I pin the knight then? Okay, I've got to respect this. I've not thought about it. I've only just seen this move. Don't know when it was made. Made 5 hours ago. I think I'm going to have a think about it, Ian. But bishop g5 would be my immediate reaction. Is that a good move? It's not a bad move. This one. This is Nick. I'm going to have to think about this too, haven't I? Got days and days to think about this. Rook c1 or pawn f4. I think rook c1 is more of my kind of move. Because f4 is committal, you can't move it backwards, can you? And also, it's kind of defending the king. I suppose the bishop on e3 is doing some good work, but the rook on c1 opposite the queen looks like... Should we just do it? Because it's Matt's kind of moves my preference. You can't take on c4 because of knight d5, which would win an exchange at least. It might even trap the queen. Doesn't matter. It's not a... You play knight d5 and then the knight's landing on c7. You may even be able to... The queen doesn't have a lot of squares, but... does the queen have any squares? Does the queen have any squares? Should we just look, just out of interest, because we like chess. Let's just look. So if black were to play this bad move and we went here, where does the queen go? Oh, takes on a2. Okay, fine, but you know. I mean, you know, maybe black... I don't think Nick's playing that, I'll tell you. But black has got 2 pawns for the exchange. But I don't believe it. If Nick wants to play that, then I'm up for it. But better with a rook on c1 than with a pawn on f4 if you're going to play that variation. Okay. Here, Ian, all very sensible. I wonder if his grade will go to 2500. It's pretty high. Well done, Ian. That's well deserved. You think carefully about your chess, and you basically, did you inflict the first horrible defeat on me in the Mora Gambit, which I'm going to have to revisit because it cannot be the case that the Sicilian defence is unsound and the Mora is the refutation. Like, no, I just didn't think hard enough about it. Okay, is that all the games? I think that's all the games. I think we're going to chess.com next. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. There's another way of looking at them which helps me make sure. Yes, yes. Oh, yes, Sidewinder. Sidewinder's done me a mischief on this. It really has. Horde coach. What you notice with Horde is the range of possible strategies in Horde is smaller than in regular chess. Chess is a very big game. Horde is not quite as big. I think we've done that. Chess.com. Okay. So let's have a look at these then. In this one, unfortunately, black's overlooked that knight on b6, which we're going to snaffle. I mean, yeah, we're snaffling. Free knights are tasty. Next, I think we can snaffle the pawn on f4. It's quite risky because it gives white a discovered attack, and I don't believe that white can use it. Famous last words. I don't believe white can use it. What's white going to do with that discovered attack? Knight e5, we take it. Knight g5, we take it. Knight d4, we take it. The problem is, really wherever the knight goes, the queen can take it. So I think we take this and we claim we're a pawn up. Everyone like that? Played it anyway. Okay, next. Okay, here, look, we get a pawn. And a very helpful pawn. Hitting the rook. And also with ideas of, I don't know, something arriving on f7. Something awful arriving on f7. But we're also a pawn up, probably with a positional advantage, unless I've missed something. I have been known to miss things. I take here, talking of positional advantage, we've got one here too. Rooks rule. Should we see what the rooks are doing? Oh, someone's drawn with someone. Oh, down here it's just a draw. CL and Puffin is cleaning up. I'm probably going to win this one, so it's me v CL and Puffin. But two go through, so we're both going to qualify. I think these are unrated games as well, but it doesn't matter. It's all. One of these days, I'm going to do a video on rating, my thoughts on rating, which actually is a very important subject. Oh, look, see, Alan Puffin moved. So, I was thinking King f3. King f3 to give me a chance to move the e-pawn if I want to. Here we go, see Alan Puffin. My king's coming to stop you playing g4. Conditional move? Not this time. Okay, this one, King e3, and I think I'm swapping the rooks on a good day, or even on, well, if I'm not swapping the rooks, I'm taking that pawn with check, which is going to be 3 pawns, probably 2 pawns, but 2 pawns is probably enough. 4 pawn attack. Everyone loves the 4 pawn attack. Oh, look, I won a game. How clever of me. Okay, so knight f3 then. Let's see what black's going to do. Bishop e7, developing a piece. This guy beat me really badly in the last game, which made me sad. Losing makes me sad. Okay, Josh, pawn c4. You've played this really well. It's a very interesting game. I spent a bit of time looking at this, and my view of the world is that pawn c4 is going to be a good move. Over to you. I hope I haven't bungled that. It's a very interesting. I mean, Josh is a piece up, probably for a pawn, but White's got an attack. White's got an attack. I mean, my guess is it's a winning attack, but I'm not sure of that. But that is my guess. Okay. Here, I can't spend quite a lot of time thinking about this. This is a good player. Okay, what I want to do is play my knight against the dark square bishop. So I just want White to play Knight e5. So shall I tempt white to play that by doing this? And then I'll take the... Even though you stop it being an isolated queen's pawn, I still think that knight is a beaut because it can't be moved. So let's see if I can provoke white to play knight e5, and then I'll just snap it off. I'll claim I've got the better mana piece. I'm not sure of that. Okay, so this is dissuading me from g4 very effectively, I might add. Okay, 3 days. I've got to think about that. It's an interesting position. I don't think I'm worse, but so when they do this, you've got to take it, right? I mean, you don't have to. You can castle and allow kind of a Benoni type d4, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take it and I'm going to play d4 myself and get into either a Tarrasch or a semi-Tarrasch. I think I'm at material here, aren't I? I think I'm at material. Let's do this, and then we'll maybe pin the bishop and maybe win the rook. Fluffy Cat. So for those that don't know, I had a grob against Fluffy Cat. Fluffy Cat's a strong player. Fluffy Cat is we had a grob in Bullet. Fluffy Cat's from Ukraine. 2100 in Rapid. Basically 2000 in Blitz and Bullet. So puzzles, only 2831 in puzzles. Okay, we'll do a puzzle at the end and see if we can get our puzzle grade up. So it hurts me to admit that I'm going to play d4 here, although I am going to play the Catalan later, so it's going to be a bit more interesting than just d4, d5. Ooh, look at this. This is a kind of Scotch gambit. It's got a name, this. I don't know the names. Yeah, I don't know the name of this. I'll have to think about that, Aaron. Maybe I'll play d3 and really annoy you. Is that everything? I think that's everything. So now, A, I get to go to sleep, and B, we get to do one puzzle. Okay, so what we've got left is like the auto moves and then Aaron's gambit. Should we just accept it? I mean, how wrong? I bet accepting it is that I'm sure the engines would accept it. The thing is, I'm sure it also does give white. It's the Goring gambit. I'm going to have to think about it. Come on then, let's do one puzzle. What we're going to do, we either do one puzzle or we do puzzles until our rating increases. White to move. Well, here's the thing. We take an a6, we play queen d3, and we're threatening the rook and checkmate. So that's what it is, isn't it? Take that. There we go. Thank you very much. We're going to stop there because I enjoyed that. I hope everyone's well. Should we do one more puzzle? Yes, I hear people cry. We'll do one more puzzle. Okay. White's move. White's move. White's move. Okay, so what do we do here? If we played b4, if we played b4, king b5, queen d7 or something, it's not quite terminal. Okay, what if we played queen c7? Then the king has to go to b5. It's like a little box. And then we're going to play a4. King has to take, probably. Well, it doesn't have to. This is hard. The thing is, queen c7 is attractive because it puts the king in the box. And I believe that kings in boxes are good news. Now, the black queen is about to start checking all over the place, so you've got to be quick. Queen c7. Black's got more pawns. Maybe we need to be playing for perpetual here. Okay, queen c7. King is forced to b5. Queen d7. The king is probably forced to... Well, there's two different squares, but I think white's going for a draw here. That's my guess. Okay, and then what? Queen d7, do we think? We're going to try and play a7 and pretend ourselves that there's a win in there. I don't think there's a win in there. Okay, a4, king takes. But after a4, what about king a5? I mean, you don't believe you can win that. I think it's this and it's a draw. Okay, let's put it into the analysis board to see if it is a draw, because well, you heard me. My guess is it's a draw, but what does the pewter say? Oh, it's a mate in 3. Well, so I won that, but it was kind of unfair. After queen c5, queen c6 is mate. Obviously, I knew. So I shouldn't really... I mean, do I deserve the grading points to have this? An outrage. c7, b4, queen c4, queen c6. Well. Isn't that a learning experience? I'm not doing another one. That's lucky. So I've banked a bit of luck, and I'm not doing another one to try to redeem myself, except that I am. Okay, so here, the knight's there, attacking a pinned knight. Oh, we're also attacking the queen, but I assume that our queen will get trapped. So we take a queen, knight takes, pawn takes. We put our queen in the way, and then they take our bishop at the end. Sort of equal. Wow, so this is really mad. So what about if we play queen b6? Just takes our knight, probably. Takes our bishop. So we take... Oh, but here's the trick. There's some sort of trick here. Take the queen. Knight takes on c6. What if we play like queen d6 or something? Or queen... I think we take the queen. You know, when you're offered a queen, you take it. And then I think we do some clever tricks so we don't lose our queen. Queen... Queen d6, queen c7, queen b6. There's some way of moving it. Even queen... Just anything that lets the king run to d8. Okay. Well, what do you do after queen b6? How do you even defend the bishop? You got to move like knight a3. Okay, I'm going to play queen b6 because I just think it's the best move. I love chess, particularly when I get it right. So now it's checked from the bishop, so we could take that bishop, and then the knight takes. We move the bishop away, and then knight c7 check is embarrassing. So we're not going to take the bishop. We're just going to play king d8, and we're going to declare that we're loads of material up. Yay! The observant viewer might suggest that I've got 3,000 in my sights here. I have been there before, but having you guys watching makes me concentrate more, so we hope to get there again. I spent a little bit of time at 3,000, but it all went wrong, but that would be nice, wouldn't it? Just to be clear, I don't think these grades are like relevant to other grades. I mean, you know, I'm not 3,000 graded at chess. It's just a different kind of grade. I hope you're all well. See you soon.